So, did you continue to work as you were getting treatment?
No work. I was retired.
Oh, okay.
I was very blessed. I was retired, so I didn't have to worry about working,
Okay.
you know. But that can impact a person's life so much when they have to work, and the financial aspect of it
Mhm.
impedes on the household because especially if they're a single parent or if they're a contributing parent with their spouse financial, it puts a lot of restraints on the family, so that's difficult. So
Yeah.
there's emotional, financial,
Mm.
physical, and then mental, so it's difficult. But there's so many support groups out there for women that are undergoing chemotherapy and or undergoing breast cancer or in the process. There's a lot of support groups. There's even financial support groups out there,
Mm.
and they're very, very important.
So, is that
Really.
what helped you to
I
make
did have a support group because I had quite a few friends that had undergone breast cancer. So I had a wonderful, wonderful support group that kept me lifted, and that's so important.
yeah, for sure. Um, Looking back, would you do anything differently?
Yes,
What
I
would
would
that
be proactive. I would examine these tatas like forever. I would question everything. Um, I would be very aggressive when it came toward me, and that's how I found the parotid gland cancer because I was very aggressive.
be?
And sometimes we rely on others to tell us about our own wellness. Uh-uh. We know when we're well, we know our body. So, what we have to do as women say, no, this is wrong. I feel this. This is unusual. I see this. This is not normal. And be very aggressive about our own health.
Yeah.
So, that's what I would do differently. I would be much more aggressive. Uh, I wouldn't go into denial if I felt a slight, oh, I know I'm cystic, so it's nothing to worry about. I would be very aggressive, and that's how I am now.
Mhm.
Very, very aggressive. If anything is wrong, I'm going to investigate. If the doctor tells me no, I'm going to find another doctor until I feel that I have a satisfactory response and I feel, okay, is a possibility.
So,
So I'm my own advocate.
how has COVID impacted
Oh,
your life?
oh, I'm neurotic. I'm crazy. That's what happened. I'm very careful. I know it's real. I'm very careful. Um, I try to be very disciplined and and just take whatever precautions I possibly can and not live recklessly because I know that in a moment one's life can change.
Yes.
Breast cancer, you have time. COVID, depending on your you know your prior your health, and I have high blood pressure also. So I'm very, very mindful of what I do, um, and I'm obedient, and I think that's the key. I'm obedient.
Has your diet changed since your diagnosis? As far as like what you eat?
It has. It has. Um, I'm very. I try not to eat processed foods. Now I'm trying to really minimize my meat consumption.
Mhm.
Sugar is something that we really have to watch. I I try to eat healthy. Of course, I fall off the wagon a few times because I have a rather sweet tooth, I know, but I do try to watch. And recently, I've been having I've been eating a little bit more salt and I see the effects of eating the salt. So I'm really pulling back and really being very, very conscientious. And since COVID-19, I have COVID-20 going on. So I put on about almost close to 20 pounds. So I have to get COVID-20 off from COVID-19. So I have to be very, very careful what I'm doing.
Deb, you are so hilarious.
I know, but tell them this is me.
Oh, this is her. Yeah, she will be doing my hair and yelling at the TV.
Absolutely.
We had a question come in. Someone asked, how can you encourage someone who is going through medical issues and not worry that it's not the worst scenario?
What I would have to tell them to stay focused and to be optimistic and try to educate themselves on everything and believe that God closes doors that man can't open
Mm,
and open doors that man can't close. Because the doctor saw me 5 years later and he said, "Oh, you're still alive?"
no.
I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I
No.
am." So I would have to encourage them to believe
Mm,
and trust
mm,
and have faith
mm,
and do not walk by sight,
mm,
walk by faith. And that's what I did.
mm. So I don't know what your walk with God has been like prior to this experience, but I would assume that you are an advocate for saying that God is very real.
Oh, what? I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm here. I had 15 positive lymph nodes with my breast cancer. I'm here. I'm talking with you, and this is 15 years later. I'm here. Absolutely.
What was the time span between having breast cancer and having
Parotid gland, which is the saliva gland, which means that one of the lymph nodes the cancer had traveled. It was 5 years from the moment of detection. But I told my oncologist in 2005 when I had the breast cancer that there was something wrong with my gland. And he told me there was nothing. You're being a hypochondriac. I said, no, I'm not.
Mm,
So I got rid of my oncologist. I got rid of my radiologist oncologist. I got rid of my internist. And I got new ones. And I got rid of my ENT that told me that I was having allergy problems. And I got a new one. So it was a 5 years, but thank the Lord it's been 5 years, 2010. So I'm 10 years with the parotid gland. And I got new doctors, and the new doctors had new sets of eyes, and they said, "Oh, I think there's something wrong." And we did an MRI, and we saw a little nodule here. And I had a very skilled ENT surgeon, and he took it out. So I'm very blessed. So I would say if your doctor is telling you, "Oh, it's nothing," you
mm,
know your body.
mm.
You find another doctor. Go to another doctor. Don't
Mm,
let his word be supreme because you know it. And the spirit will tell you, there's something wrong.
mm,
And when that voice tells you and that spirit comes to you and say, mm-mm, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Take
mm.
care of yourself.
Miss Rochelle would like to ask you a question.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm the one that asked that question that she asked earlier. I had to come away from my daughter. I didn't want her to hear me ask it. But you were talking about when you knew something is wrong and you went to the doctor and they were telling you everything was fine. but then it was later on that they found out. Like, how, in that moment when you went and they said they didn't find anything, nothing was wrong, like from that moment, like how were you mentally and emotionally before you got that fatal news, that, or that news that you had cancer? Like, how was that for you mentally and emotionally?
The second cancer, right? The parotid gland.
No, whichever one, the one that you were explaining, when I think it was the breast cancer, when you were explaining about when you went to the doctor before they said that, like when you went did all the tests before you went to the radiologist.
Hmm. Okay. I think that was with the parotid gland. Well, when I knew something was wrong. I felt it. So in that period, I was not completely, it didn't resolve the issue for me because I still felt that there was something wrong. There was something wrong. So what I decided is that I have to get another doctor. They're not telling me, I don't believe what they're saying. I don't feel right. There is something wrong. Even though they're telling me, oh, everything is fine. The ENT told me, no, you have allergies. I said, no, I don't feel right. And I couldn't go in denial again because of the breast cancer. And I know what I went through, and I did not want to go through that. So the doctor didn't resolve my problems because I did not feel well. So I knew there was a problem. So it
Mm.
was a state of, it wasn't calm. It was, what actions am I going to take now? Because I do not feel that this issue is resolved.
Mm. You know, the thing that really just had me, even as much as you speak about your faith, and I think like as a believer as well, you know, oftentimes you talk to other people and you tell them to have faith, and you have those scriptures that says, be anxious for nothing, trust in the Lord with all your heart and mind. And you're going through all, you know your scriptures, and you're praying, but then it's like there's that other part of you that it's like you're battling, like you're saying these things and you're trusting God, but then how do you speak to someone who they're trusting God and you're believing that, when the test comes back everything is fine, but then you're fighting with your internal self, like, are they going to tell me something is wrong? Like, how do you encourage someone who is like having this internal battle between self and just trusting God?
Well, you do have to trust God because there's things that are out of our control. We can't control them. Although we might try to control them, we can't. So sometimes you have to release and let the Lord have his will and just take control. Because there's certain things I can't control. And that was the same thing that I found, that after I went through the chemotherapy and the radiation, I was still holding on to cancer. And one doctor who was a Christian, wonderful doctor, she says, you have to release it. She says, you have to release it. You can't control it. And so I think sometimes we have to release because we can't control it. And then whatever happens, then we must deal with it. I think the Spirit comes to you and tells you exactly what to do. I think you can't worry about things you don't have the control over. And we don't.
Mhm. I think that's one of the hardest things. And I think just generally in life, like, especially with COVID and everything else, that was one of the things that I know, like, I tell people, we have no control. And even though you have no control, but then I think when trouble comes knocking at your door, or something, or trouble is coming your way, it's like I guess you go through this. Do I have control? Do not have, God, I want to let it go, but I don't know how to let it go. God, I don't want to worry, but how do I not worry? It's like you have this internal battle that you're going through.
Well, I think with something like COVID, I think that we all are very concerned, but I think all that we can do is to remain disciplined and obedient. Wear a mask, sanitize, not put ourselves in an environment that can compromise our health. Um, be very conscientious of crowds and when you're around family. I am not around a lot of family. As a matter of fact, I just went to New York and my cousin came over. The whole time I had a mask on. She was like, aren't you going to take it off? I said, absolutely not. Because I'm coming from a different location, you have a different household. So I think that we have to we can't be neurotic, but we have to be disciplined.